The mask of patriarchal femininity often renders women's deceptions acceptable. However, when women lie, we lead credence to age-old sexist stereotypes that suggest women are inherently, by virtue of being female, less capable of truth-telling. The origins of this sexist stereotype extend back to ancient stories of Adam and Eve, of Eve's willingness to lie even to God. Often when information is withheld by women and men, protection of privacy is the justification. In our culture, privacy is often confused with secrecy. Open, honest, truth-telling individuals value privacy. We all need spaces where we can be alone with thoughts and feelings, where we can experience healthy psychological autonomy and can choose to share when we want to. Keeping secrets is usually about power, about hiding and concealing information. Hence, many recovery programs stress that you are only as sick as your secrets. When a former boyfriend's sister shared with me a carefully guarded family secret regarding incest, which he did not know about, I responded by requesting that she tell him. If she didn't, I would. I felt that keeping this information a secret from him would violate the commitment we had made as a couple to be open and honest with each other. By withholding this information from him, joining his mother and sisters, I would have been participating in family dysfunction. And sharing with him affirmed my loyalty and respect for his capacity to cope with reality. While privacy strengthens all our bonds, secrecy weakens and damages connections. Lerner points out that we do not usually know the emotional cost of keeping a secret until the truth is disclosed. Usually secrecy involves lying, and lying is always always the setting for potential betrayal and violation of trust. Widespread cultural acceptance of lying is a primary reason many of us will never know love. It is impossible to nurture one's own or another's spiritual growth when the core of one's being and identity is shrouded in secrecy and lies. Trusting that another person always intends your good. Having a core foundation of loving patience cannot exist within a context of deception. It is this truism that makes all acts of judicious withholding major moral dilemmas. More than ever before, we as a society need to renew a commitment to truth-telling. Such a commitment is difficult when lying is deemed more acceptable than telling the truth. Lying has become so much the accepted norm that people lie even when it would be simpler to tell the truth. Practically every mental health practitioner, from the most erudite psychoanalysts to untrained self-help gurus, tell us that it is infinitely more fulfilling and we are all saner if we tell the truth. Yet most of us are not rushing to stand up and be counted among the truth tellers. Indeed, as someone committed to being honest in daily life, I experience the constant drag of being seen as a freak for telling the truth. Even when I speak truthfully about simple matters, if a friend gives me a gift and asks me to tell him whether or not I like it, I will respond honestly and judiciously. That is to say, I will speak the truth in a positive, caring manner. Yet, even in this situation, the person who asks for honesty will often express annoyance when given a truthful response. In today's world, we are taught to fear the truth, to believe it always hurts. We are encouraged to see honest people as naive, as potential losers, bombarded with cultural propaganda ready to instill in all of us the notion that lies are more important, that truth does not matter. We are all potential victims. Consumer culture in particular encourages lies. Advertising is one of the cultural mediums that has most sanctioned lies. Keeping people in a constant state of lack and perpetual desire strengthens the marketplace economy. Lovelessness is a boon to consumerism, and lies strengthen the world of predatory advertising. Our passive acceptance of lies in public life, particularly via the mass media, upholds and perpetuates lying in our private lives. In our public life, there would be nothing for tabloid journalism to expose if we lived our lives out in the open, committed to truth-telling, commitment to knowing love can protect us by keeping us wedded to a life of truth. willing to share ourselves openly and fully in both private and public life. To know love, we have to tell the truth to ourselves and to others. Creating a false self to mask fears and insecurities has become so common that many of us forget who we are and what we feel underneath the pretense. Breaking through this denial is always the first step in uncovering our longing to be honest and clear. Lies and secrets burden us and cause stress. When an individual has always lied, he has no awareness that truth telling can take away this heavy burden. To know this, he must let the lies go. When feminism first began, women talked openly about our desires to know men better, to love them for who they really are. We talked about our desires to be loved for who we really are, i.e., to be accepted in our physical and spiritual beings rather than feeling we had to make ourselves into a fantasy self to become the object of male desire. And we urge men to be true to themselves, to express themselves. Then, when men began to share their thoughts and feelings, some women could not cope. They wanted the old lies and pretenses to be back in place. In the 70s, a popular Sylvia greeting card showed a woman seated in the front of the fortune teller gazing into a crystal ball. The caption on the front of the card read, "He never talks about his feelings." On the inside, the response was, "Next year at 2 p.m., men will start talking about their feelings. And at 2:05, women all over America will be sorry." When we hear another person's thoughts, beliefs, and feelings, it is more difficult to project onto them our perceptions of who they are. It is harder to be manipulative. At times, women find it difficult to hear what many men have to say when they tell us does not conform to our fantasies of who they are or who we want them to be. The wounded child inside many males is a boy who, when he first spoke his truths, was silenced by paternal sadism, by a patriarchal world that did not want him to claim his true feelings. The wounded child inside many females is a girl who was taught from early childhood on that she must become something other than herself, deny her true feelings in order to attract and please others. When men and women punish each other for truth telling, we reinforce the notion that lies are better. To be loving, we willingly hear each other's truth, and most important, we affirm the value of truth telling. Lies may make people feel better, but they do not help them to know love. The end. That's the end of chapter 3.